Alrighty, welcome back everyone. So I'm sure you guys have seen the news by now. Basically, the Dokkan Twitter accounts are telling us we are going to be getting a producer's letter for the month of May in about 2 days from now. Right now it is May 8th when I'm recording this. On May 10th at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You guys can adjust time zones from there, of course. But during that time, we will get a producer's letter that will tell us the information for the events for the month of May, schedule updates for probably the next few months, as well as the reveal for a new character. So obviously, a lot of people are very excited to see what this is going to offer, but today I want to go ahead and break this down and go into it in a bit of a greater detail, speculating, theory crafting, because I'm here to tell you guys, the fact of the matter is the timing of this producer's letter tells me that this is going to be far, far more important than we may even realize. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm so excited to talk about this. I hope you guys are excited, and I hope you guys will enjoy the vid. If you do, drop a like down below, show your support, subscribe to the channel. We are on the road to 1K subs. Also, comment down below your thoughts. Let us know, what do you want to see mentioned specifically in this producer's letter? Let us know in the comments down below. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So, let's address the elephant in the room. I think that's important to talk about. The timing of this producer letter is long overdue, and maybe long overdue is a bit of a stretch, but at least 2 to 3 weeks overdue, because like, you guys don't even have to play Dokkan. If you've been a part of the Dokkan community just watching everything, you will know the month of April has been abysmal when it comes to communication quality between the player base and the Dokkan development team, specifically from the Dokkan development team. I mean, the beginning of April, right, when we were supposed to know who our April Fool's Dokkan Fest was, we didn't even get the information from the development team. We got it because I seriously leaked STR Cell's release, so that was already a leak to begin the month. Then, at the end of April, as we're getting ready for the Golden Week campaign or the celebration and whatnot, everyone is wondering, what is the theme, what are the teasers, can we get some sort of idea what to look forward to for the Golden Week celebration? We didn't get anything from Dokkan, to the point that people were asking seriously to leak once again what the theme will be so that we can be ready to go. So, you know, it was just so crazy, and maybe, like, you could argue they knew on purpose that Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku is not that good, and there would be some issues that they didn't want to say nothing. I think that's just a bunch of nonsense. At the end of the day, like, he could have been a bad release, but they should have told us something. And the fact of the matter is, the month of April has been such a bad representation of communication quality for Dokkan and us that really, this producer letter is overdue, and I'm just glad they're doing it at this point for part 2 of the celebration. Obviously, we're going through the celebration and everything. We're going to be very soon now going into part 2 of the Golden Week celebration, which is probably what, you know, we're going to see with the character reveal. A lot of people are already kind of expecting this will showcase to us who the part 2 LR is going to be, so I'll talk about that in just a sec. But yeah, I mean, the elephant in the room is that this is overdue. The fact of the matter is, they should have done this earlier, and I'm glad they're doing it now. I'm sure a lot of people are glad they're doing something now. And the thing about producer letters is they are so helpful. You know, if we go look at the past few ones, right? You know, the last producer's letter we got was for the Same Day celebration. That told us basically, hey, we're going to be, like, the information on the campaign and everything. They're going to give us Dragon Stones and everything. They also told us, hey, this is going to be our new TUR. This is going to be our Same Day character, Kid Goku. He's going to look like this with the Dokkan Awakening. And they gave us a bit of an inside scoop onto his character design, that he's going to have a unit super with Bulma and all that sort of stuff. You know, the support campaign for his medals, a new set of Red Zone stages to look forward to, the EZA confirmation for Path to Power Kid Goku, the special support pack. The producers' letters themselves don't necessarily have to be too in-depth in terms of effort and production value, but they do so much for us. They really are so awesome, and I wish Dokkan does it a bit more often. Maybe that's just me, but I feel like this is a tool that they should be using much, much more often than they already are. And, you know, maybe we'll see some changes, some better changes going forward, who knows, but getting a producer letter is such a nice thing to have. I mean, if you look back and you see, like, the responses to this producer letter, you saw big YouTubers, small YouTubers, general people in the Dokkan community going insane, seeing the reveal of the TUR, the confirmation of EZA Path to Power Kid Goku, all of that stuff. So, you know, that's the power the producer letters have. That's the power, really, that Dokkan has in their corner, being able to tell us what's going on. And also, the thing about producer letters is, obviously, the big celebrations like Worldwide Celebration and Anniversary, they will have the real crazy production value. They will have the pre-streams, they will have all that crazy stuff, the stuff that makes me as a YouTuber kind of jealous that I don't have any money to make those types of setups for my own. But producers letters are better for, like, everything else. You know, all the random Dokkan Fests, all the other months of the year and stuff. That's the best thing about these producer letters. So finally getting one once again. Love to see it. I mean, we've gotten some in the past as well. You know, we got one during like the end of December to kind of give us an idea of the New Year's characters, right? With Glorio and Diamond Goku, if I'm not mistaken. We had others in the past too. November for the Super Dragon Ball Heroes campaign. We had some talking about, I believe, the sync up and stuff. This was like at the end of September, so this was like going into like the next kind of update schedule and everything for Dokkan and everything at the time. Obviously, we had produced letters for the Worldwide Celebration campaign. I believe not even the Worldwide Celebration campaign. I think this was the beginning of August as we got ready for the campaign. And then we had stuff for May and stuff last year. To be fair, at this point going back, it's a bit too far to kind of reminisce, because obviously you see May, you see the 9th anniversary characters. That's because this Dokkan Global, at the time Global was getting ready for the 9th anniversary. So at that point going that far back, now it's no longer accurate. But obviously with the sync up being done and everything, now we as a whole community, global, international players, JP players, we're all in the same boat waiting for information. This is what we can look forward to seeing. So awesome stuff right here. Now, talking about what we're going to be getting. So obviously we're going to be getting schedule updates, we're going to be getting information on the events and the character reveal. So character reveal, I'll save that for last real quick. The schedule updates, this is kind of interesting to me, and I'm very curious to see what they're going to mention, because probably they're going to show us a timeline of certain updates to look forward to in terms of like the UI and gameplay and stuff and all that. They probably will show us some updates like that. But I mean, the fact of the matter is, if you remember, last year we had a bunch of timeline stuff because we were trying to get ready for the sync up between Global and JP. So the timeline was very important then, so that we understood when we're supposed to sync up. The sync up is basically complete though. Now, like, there's sometimes jokes being made and people kind of being upset about how, at times, I feel like one of the biggest like issues with the Dokkan sync up at this point in time is that the global side of the Dokkan Twitter account doesn't post EZA translations. But that's the only, like, one of the biggest examples. For the most part, the sync up is done. All the characters are on both sides of the game. So overall, I mean, it's one of those things where, I'm curious to see what the schedule update is going to show. Probably the UI updates and gameplay updates. Maybe we'll see some updates on some free-to-play characters. One character I'm kind of looking at is maybe like the physical, like the quest mode Frieza and Cooler, because we did have the LR awakening for Same Day Bardock and stuff. Like the Same Day celebration, we got the AGL Bardock LR and everything. So he's been a great character. I think some people were saying that Frieza and Cooler may become an LR, but I don't know if that was officially confirmed or whatnot. But if they're going to be an LR, we should see some mention of them very soon, right? Or maybe we'll see a new character stuff, but who knows? The schedule update is going to be very interesting. I anticipate that it will go as far as up to the Worldwide Celebration campaign, but no further than that. I think that's probably as far as it'll go. Even then, maybe you could argue it won't even go that far, maybe up to Tanabata, which is going to be like end of June. So I mean, we'll have to kind of wait and see there, but that's gonna be fun. Info on May events. So, we have no official kind of I guess expectation or like idea of what to expect. My hope is that we are gonna be getting a red zone or a blue zone stage. We got a red zone stage of Dragon Ball Saga stuff for like the Same Day celebration. We need another kind of sequence of stages for Tournament of Power or Universe 6 for Universe 7. We need something, because the hardest content I feel like we've gotten, unless I'm mistaken, for like this whole campaign, I guess, is either seriously serious, like the new stage or the new event, or it's the missions for like the Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Super Saiyan Blue like Vegeta. Like those missions, I guess, are like the hardest content, you could argue. And even then, that's only because they're missions that impose hard, like, challenges on yourself against a fight that was released during the 10th anniversary. So, we need new content, we need new events, new challenges, things to kind of test the characters, if you will. I think that's probably like the biggest thing that we need the most. And if we can get that, then that'll be really good, because a lot of people have been upset, I feel like, with the quality of this Golden Week celebration compared to the last one, right? And actually, speaking of the last one, let me go ahead and pull up, the producer's letter for that last one if I can find it. But the producer's letter for Dokkan before, it's not on this one actually, right here, there we go. So the producer's letter for Dokkan last year. So this was going into the Golden Week celebration last year. We got information about a collaboration for Sandland, we got the ticket information, we got the reveals of the dual Dokkan Fest characters, the idea about their intro and everything, the EZA confirmations for Global specifically for Vegito and Boo Tanks, all the stuff we had, red zone stages, quest mode updates and stuff. If that's what we got to go into the Golden Week celebration last year, up to this point, then the Golden Week celebration has been a very serious disappointment in comparison. Now, it seems like they're trying to pick it up in part 2, which I appreciate. They're trying to fix it, maybe a bit too little too late, who knows. But I just know a lot of friends of mine, a lot of fellow players, they are very upset with the lack of quality given to the celebration. They're not feeling Dokkan right now, and it's tough to watch, friends who've been playing Dokkan for a while just lose their enjoyment of it because of things that the development team can control, I guess. So, you know, I'm going on a bit of a tangent here, but the point I'm trying to make is this part right here needs to be so important. Let me just get a bit closer here so I can like highlight this. This part right here is excruciatingly important. I would actually argue this is the most important thing, even beyond the new character reveal. And some people are going to say that's cap, I'm just being stupid. But, you know, the part 2 LR, a lot of people are going to say it's going to be Kefla. That's the anticipation for a lot of people. Regardless of who it actually is, they could be someone out of left field. The fact of the matter is, we need content that everyone is going to enjoy playing. That's going to be the first thing in priority, then the reveal, then the schedule updates. That is the order in which I think it has to be focused on. So, yeah, I mean, it's just a focus. But, okay, we talked about the events, we talked about the updates. We still have to wait and see what's going to actually come up, so we don't have no official kind of understanding, I guess. But the new character reveal. Now, first thing is first, because this just came to my mind, hopefully there is no leak from I Seriously, because if he leaks this again, I am going to be pissed, because Dokkan is actually making an effort to tell us what we can look forward to seeing. It's not like the beginning of the celebration where they were dead quiet. Now they're saying, hey, we're going to show you guys what's going on, and if they're giving the effort, then we don't need the leaks. Like, that's, in my opinion, what the situation is. So, hopefully we don't get leaked in this sort of specific sense. A lot of people, again, you know, they're saying Kefla is going to be our part 2 LR, which makes a lot of sense from a lot of different standpoints. One is Kefla is a good moneymaker. You know, Kefla is a character that a lot of people like for various reasons, but Kefla is a very hyped character in that sense, so a lot of people would love to pull for her anyways. Being an LR, you know, this would be the first LR Kefla technically, right? We do have an LR Kale and Kefla, but they don't fuse into Kefla. So to get an LR Kefla, that could be very awesome right there. A lot of people would love to see it, so all of those things kind of point to that being the right kind of move. Obviously, it does kind of fit into the theme of Universe 6 versus Universe 7. So, you know, all those things kind of point as opportunities there for Kefla to show up. But, you know, in the grand scheme of things, we're still waiting for the official confirmation. I will say, some people were kind of speculating, and maybe I could pull it up right here. Some people were kind of speculating that the timing of this, right? You know, the fact of the matter is the timing of this whole thing is going to indicate that we're not going to be getting an LR related to the campaign, but more so an LR like Super Saiyan 4 Daima Goku, Mini Goku specifically, and because, you know, the timing of it and all that sort of stuff. You know, me personally, my thought on the situation is when it comes to Daima Goku, and I love Daima Goku, I love Daima. Daima's been a show that I really do enjoy. But Daima needs to stay the fuck away from the Golden Week celebration at this point in time. If they wanted to do Daima, which they could have done, but if they wanted to do it, they needed to start off the celebration, in my opinion, with Daima. They can't just do Universe 6 versus Universe 7 and then segue into Daima. There's really, it's almost like a damn near radical, just out of left field kind of just segue into Daima. And at that point, like for me, it would just feel like Super Saiyan 4 Goku is a cash grab effort and that's it. And I don't want that feeling in my like spirit. Like I don't want to just look at Daima Goku and say, hey, he's the part 2 LR because they needed money. Like I don't want to get that feeling, you know. I would rather he be saved for a Tanabata celebration, worldwide celebration, something later with his own like proper campaign theme. Like maybe that makes sense to you guys as well. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree. But I just don't think Daima Goku should be this option. I know some people are thinking this is the sign, but no, Daima Goku, stay the hell away from my game for now, at least, right? LR Kefla can come right now, is fine. I didn't personally prefer LR Kefla. I had different ideas, of course, if you guys saw my like LR prediction vids, but I'd rather take LR Kefla right now than LR Daima Goku, given the theme and everything setting up to that. So that's just my kind of thoughts there. But for Kefla, speaking of her, I will say this whole timing of it and what I said earlier about how this means that this could be more important than ever before. I think the timing of this producer's letters may indicate one or two things about our Part 2 LR. The first thing, and this may be a very unlikely kind of scenario, but my thinking is as a massive car just drove by. I think that picked up on the mic, so sorry about that, guys. There's just a massive truck there. But my thinking about the Part 2 LR, this is probably very unlikely. But I think the Part 2 LR, you know, having a producer's letter means there is a good chance that this could be our first ever Carnival LR for the Golden Week celebration. Now, that may sound a bit crazy, but just hear me out. You know, Dokkan, like a general kind of trend of things with Dokkan is Dokkan always does the same thing until they don't. And that sounds maybe kind of weird, but like let me explain. So going into the Part 2 of the celebration, right, all of us are expecting a Part 2 LR to be a yellow coin LR based off what sort of logic, right? The logic that we've gotten yellow coin LRs in the past. The Part 2 LR has been a yellow coin LR before, that's why we expect it to be the case this time around. Until Dokkan changes the formula, we're just basing our ideas based off what we've seen in the past. So, you know, Dokkan's gonna do the same thing until they choose not to. This could be the first time that we see a Carnival LR in the Golden Week celebration, and honestly, it does kind of make sense if you think about it because, you know, we've had Carnival LRs for the 10th anniversary, we've had Carnival LRs for the Worldwide Celebration campaign, we've had Carnival LRs technically, you know, with the Tanabata celebration. The Golden Week celebration is arguably next up. So if that's the case, then this could be a good opportunity for that. Obviously, having a producer letter would help hype that up even more. And Kefla, you know, getting her first LR being a Carnival LR, like a lot of people were saying she needs to be a Carnival LR, myself included. You know, this all could work out pretty well. Now, we don't have no confirmation, but I think there is a good chance that this could be a Carnival LR Kefla. And if that's the case, wow, we're in for a treat, because that's going to be really awesome for sure. But that's one kind of theory I have there. The second idea, and this is kind of, I guess you could kind of put them side by side, but the second idea for me, and I think a lot of people will agree with this one more so, is that the fact of the matter is that we're getting a producer letter right now, probably for Part 2 LR Kefla. This could mean that she is going to be the first official tag character, you know, reversible exchange character since the 10th anniversary, right? Going back to the 10th anniversary, remember, we had the tag mechanic introduced into the game, and we had several characters with that tag function, right? You know, for example, we had the 10th anniversary Super Gogeta, we had 10th anniversary Vegito, of course, of the fusions. We also had Go Frieza. Go Frieza, those three were the only characters, they still are technically the only characters to have a tag mechanic in-game where it can swap back and forth. And the thing about them that makes them so powerful with it is that they are able to fit onto a plethora of categories on both sides of the character, because that's how the reversible exchange works. They have a bunch of cool animations and stuff, they have crazy ideas for kit design, so, you know, getting another reversible exchange character, that would be a perfect timing right now, I feel like, for the sake of the Golden Week celebration. Kefla, that makes perfect sense as well in terms of the timing, because Kayla and Cloudfla, they are two of the most synergistic Saiyans probably in the story, right? Two of the most synergistic characters. They, like, we see them in the Tournament of Power. They practically fight side by side, and like them, you know, to like tagging back and forth, going into Kefla, I think it makes great sense there. So I think, me personally, my expectation is we're going to be seeing a reversible exchange Kefla. If we get anything further than that, my expectation is going to be a Carnival LR Kefla, and I hope it is a Carnival LR, because, you know what, why not shake things up, have some fun? I think it'd be really awesome there, because also, then she'll be a 220% lead, and I think that could be very awesome too. So, you know, it's going to be a lot of interesting stuff. But, you know, obviously, until we see the actual producer letter, we are operating in the dark. We're speculating. A lot of people are very excited, of course. You know, you could just look at different people's opinions about all this sort of stuff, and everyone is just going crazy. I mean, it, like, you see people before the Golden Week celebration talking about how we got no producer letter, but like now we got a producer letter. Now people are actually kind of stoked and got some hope. We got people saying how there should be a roadmap and stuff. Yeah, it's gonna be very fun to see for sure. We'll have to see what they're gonna have to offer. Let me know again in the comments down below what do you guys want to see, what do you guys specifically want to see mentioned from the producer letter, but I think it's gonna be a great time for sure. In any case, that's pretty much everything I wanted to say about the producer letter, so that is going to be where we wrap up the vid today. Again, comment down below your thoughts. Let us know, what do you want to see come as a part of this producer letter? If you guys enjoyed the vid, again, drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel, show your support. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.